We have Sowore in the house. We promised last week that he will come, and here it is. Good morning, comrade Omoyele Sowore. You are my comrade, and when you said that you are a sharp person, I was like, I look back. I told you in recent time. Yes, my friend is very shy, very shy.
Yeah, we can see that.
Moyo, don't bring him to limelight.
We saw
very,
that in the activism and all that.
Yes, he's very shy. Very shy person. Especially when it comes to fighting for the right of others.
He's very shy.
Very shy.
His
and he's very shy. He's still shying right here. You can't even look at his face. Sorry. Good morning.
Okay. Thank you for bringing me. Yes.
Yes, thank you for coming and having you here. It's a pleasure. You have had some things done in this country that I can call where angel, fear. You have dared the place, and I want to know exactly what motivates you.
I have said I grew up dead poor. I grew up in a small town in Ondo State called Kiribo. It's regarded as the Niger Delta region. And in 1980, when I was about 9 years old, my village was invaded by the police. And the reason was that the police would come around, like they do today, come around on market days, which is every 9 days, and extort money from poor women. And some young people who were around for Christmas said enough was enough, drove them away. The police, of course, went and mobilized more of their men, came to the village and kicked down every door they could find and beat up all the old people, raped the girls. And we were in our house cowering because my father has a polygamous relationship, so I stayed with my mom in one section and he had the other woman on the other side. And I felt so bad that my dad could not go to the other side to rescue her family as they were getting beaten up by the police. And I sat down when I was 9 years old, very sad, depressed, till today, that the country Nigeria was, in my view, a federal republic of injustice and oppression. How they violated our people that night motivated me for the first time. And as I grew up and started along the line of finding out more about Nigeria, I just found more injustice, and I thought to myself, there has to be resistance. And it is that spirit of resistance from that period in my life that has continued to push me to today. And all of you could tell that not much has improved within policing, with governance, and all of the good stuff that's supposed to happen in Nigeria. To the extent that as of 2017, the police still after people like me for the same reasons that they were after my family in 1980. So when you think about all of this, you would understand what is the driving force. Of course, there's also part of internal conviction. I would not fail to say that it wasn't until I met Femi Falana, who spoke at the University of Lagos when I was in year 1 in 1989, that activist part of me became very, very solid, because he just said things that made me feel like, yes, this is the right kind of messaging I needed to confront the system. So, but as you also would know, oppression is not only localized or domesticated in Nigeria, it's a global phenomenon, sadly. And if you feel like there's a problem in Nigeria, you need to be an American at this time. With Donald Trump as president, you know that everywhere in the world there's oppression and people need to resist and fight back. So, in a nutshell, that's been my little history or story. And we just have to keep fighting. And I happen to be one of the people who've been lucky to have fought and survived so many times. And we'll continue to fight until I can't fight anymore.
Wow, that means I would say he's inborn, but was discovered as a result of what you witnessed.
There was a mark that was made on him when he was little.
Yeah.
Now, some people, let's graduate from that. Some people accuse you of using your website to blackmail the rich, the powerful, the kind of things you publish. They brandish as falsehood, that you're just deliberately publishing these things, to and you've got into a lot of difficulties, stormy seas. As you said, you're lucky to have survived, you know. So what do you say to that? Recently you were a guest at Fancy, you know, again, that you blew up a story that, you know, you really shouldn't have, you know, there was really no substance to it and things like that, you know. So do you really verify these stories before you, and are you trying to blackmail people? Are you just trying to paint people black, you know?
I think there's some level of confusion in the way the messaging has been framed. The first thing you need to do is to find out what is the meaning of blackmail. Blackmailing people mean that you have a story, you approach them with it to say,
There's a motive.
you know, that if you don't pay me or you don't do something for me, I'm going to public. That's not correct. The simple question I ask people when they're confused about our role in society is to point to me one story that we broke that is not correct, including you mentioning just now that we broke a story about President Buhari's health. And you know, President Buhari has at least 7 media aides. And this story was published on Sunday, and nobody has denied even an ounce of the story. In fact, the story is beginning to unfold and unravel before us. That the wife has now revealed that she was actually driven away from the UK, from her husband. And there are some cabal behind the president who are controlling who could see him and could not see him. So we've done such great stories that maybe the way to put it philosophically for a lot of people who are confused is that maybe because you think a story is just too good to be true, it is unbelievable. But we've been around for so long that a lot of the stories that you're talking about have come to unravel themselves. In fact, Nigeria is going through a second cycle of a president that is missing right now, in a way that if you look at the story we did on Yaradua, it was the same thing. We were the first to declare that Yaradua was sick, was incapacitated, and that Yaradua was not coming back. I will reveal for the first time on this station that I was the one who was contacted by Jonathan and his people to find out if they could actually start preparing for the presidency, because they had no information. And I said to them, please, get yourself ready. Yaradua at that point was brain dead. Even when Yaradua came, and clerics in this town, don't forget, because people have short memory in this country. Clerics, big pastors, and an imam was taken to see him, and they claimed that Yaradua was well. We wrote immediately that they are lying. You know, that's why I don't trust all these so-called men of God, you know, who use organized religion. They are the ones blackmailing our society into silence by saying we cannot ask questions. So you can count a number of stories that we've done, including stories like revealing that Obani Koro and the rest of them were in a Ekiti rigging election, mentioned an army general. Everybody said it was a lie. He sued me. He sued me in Lagos and sued me in New York. Now, as of today, the federal government is retrieving monies that he stole from himself, his family, his children. You know, tell me which story. But you see, people are not used to this level of reporting.
Frontal.
Yes.
Because
the media in Nigeria, as you know, the mainstream, including yourself sometimes, you're just too afraid to say what you need to say because the interests of your bosses are at stake. You know, their political friends and their church members, mosque people. But that is what destroyed Nigeria. You know, I cannot be part of that deceit that will put this country, that has already put this country out of circulation. But here is our duty to inform, which is also enshrined in the Constitution. You know, it's not even a media thing. That you and I have a right to exchange information freely. Whenever it's not only enshrined in the Constitution, it's actually part of Article 19 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. So those things cover us extensively. But if anybody feels I'm breaking the law by revealing what is wrong with the president in the interest of the public, they are free to arrest me. And I'm around and I'm in town, yes. And I'm saying
You've graced quite a number of police stations. Don't
Yes.
you get tired of it?
No, you shouldn't be tired.
Don't you get scared
the more people like me are oppressed, the more I become resistant, you know, to oppression.
That's it.
And to also ask others.
What did you say?
That's it.
Yeah.
Oppressor is not going to give you on the platter of gold.
So I'm not going to expect
No
the
freedom.
police to determine or dictate to me how to fight for my own rights. You know, if, like I said, if your Kobo is involved in treating President Buhari, you're entitled to know his condition. Whether it is not enshrined in the Constitution or not is their own business. You know, this is public property right here. All of you went out in 2015 and voted for this man. And one of the reasons people voted for him was integrity. He said he would disclose whatever is wrong with him, if there is. He said he would disclose his private properties to us. He never did. You know, so there's also an integrity deficit that we are challenging by putting out what people need to know about what is wrong with President Buhari. So going legalistic on me is actually helping them to dodge away from their responsibilities to the Nigerian people.
Question.
It's a very important thing. You know, we are challenging the status quo ante here. The same way Americans are challenging, you know, President Trump.
But don't you think it will
There's
still
two
remain?
different
It will still
societies,
remain
though.
in the realms of
This is an African
speculation.
society, that is an American society, and we haven't come up to that level of disclosure.
No. You see,
yet,
people use this.
I mean, I can imagine if my radio station
Yeah.
were to do the kind of stories that you did,
Yeah.
would be closed down. We're heavily
You
regulated.
you could be closed down, but you could also reject closure. It's not the first time that government closed down media houses. You know, the military closed down Punch, it closed down the Guardian.
Have they ever tried to close down your
They have their own way of
website?
trying to close us down, which is, you know, tech warfare. You know, they attack the website. And I have been sued, sponsored by the federal government several times,
yeah.
and won the cases. Just to let you know, I've tested the notoriety you're talking about in American courts, and they said we're right. We just won a case against Ovanikoro 2 weeks ago.
Oh, you did?
And based on
Did you?
that, yes, based on that case,
What was the case on blackmail, right?
No, the issue of
he claimed-
Ekiti saga.
You know, he claimed that we lied when we said that he took money,
Okay, so defamation.
federal
of
government
character.
money, you know, and stole it, converted it. He said we lied, and he went and tested in an American court, and the judges there said, since the documents are in Nigeria, we are referring this case to Nigeria. We came to Nigeria. Another judge in Lagos is now saying that he should go and settle with us. Meanwhile, he's the one who sued us. Even in Nigeria, as bad as this jungle is, people are seeing through these rules. So it is not something that I am apologetic about. I'm speaking as a bona fide citizen of this country, that I have a right to know the health condition of our president, because that's one of the things that he should be disclosing to us. You know, there's no need for any form of secrecy, especially because we've been through this nonsense before. We had a dead person ruling this country in Yaradua for months, and it almost led to the disintegration of Nigeria. If Nigeria disintegrates today, would you be talking about constitution? If war breaks out today, is it a constitutional thing? But this was the kind of confusion that almost led to a crisis, a major constitutional crisis during Yaradua's time. So you should actually be grateful to us for helping to solve these problems, you know, for free.
Class. Is it class 72 now? Is it class 52?
Okay.
This class.
Are you talking about the Kaduna Mafia?
I don't know whether they
Yeah,
call
they
them
are the Kaduna
also,
Mafia,
but I
yeah.
know they said class 52. also.
Bariwa College, no.
They have been in power, you know, before independence, and they're still in power up until now. Are those the, you know, cabal?
No.
Nigerians want to
So
know this.
sometimes we reduce Nigeria political problems by sectionalizing them, you know, or by ethnicizing them.
No,
When
the
you
class
talk
is made up
about
of people from
no,
the
I
military,
understand,
from all parts
I
of
understand.
Nigeria.
What I'm saying is that when it comes to cabals, you know, these are criminal groups of people that forms around political leaders in this country. Whether you are from the south or you come from the north, whenever somebody is in power, they quickly form around them. You know, what would you call the people that were around Jonathan that stole so much? Which class did they graduate from? Which year did they graduate from? You know, some of them didn't even go to university. You understand? Like some of the priests who were providing them planes to carry money to South Africa, people like Richard Jaffo. Which class did he go to? So we have criminals who are forming around people who are incompetent, people who misgovern. That's what we mean by cabal. It has nothing to do with, you know, any college in particular. There's no college in Nigeria where they teach people to steal, or a particular primary school. In fact, some of the schools or classes you know, they used to be morally upright people. But when power is mixed with all of this, cabals can form around a local government chairman. They can form around, you know, a state governor. The cabal has nothing to do with class. It has nothing to do with religion or ethnicity. My solutions to, again, I would say, and it's important to know you're running out of time, that, you know, it's not the oppressor who should determine how the oppressed free themselves. That's my position. You see, this idea that you guys have, you know, just very nice. Let's go and have a conference. just have a nice guy. You've forgotten that the Nigerian space to do good has so constricted. It's almost impossible without fighting. You can't get an inch to do good in this country without, having to put up a fight. You can't get even a document signed across the street from here without gracing somebody's palm. And you think if you put a commissioner who's a nice guy at the top, what happens to the other smaller civil servants who have become embedded in corruption, who cannot do without collecting and cheating and things like that? So that's what I'm saying. The solution is not going to be a 10 minutes discussion on the radio. The revolution, as a matter of fact, may not be televised when it happens.
Are you speaking like a prophet right now?
Yes.
When? He's speaking like a prophet right
I
now.
don't know.